to movies and toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
What's going on, everybody? Oh, we got a show. How many years in the making? What year? 43 years in the making.
Yeah,
We're going to talk
right.
about... Is it 43 years?
Yep.
Tron. We're going to talk about Tron Aries. We'll talk a little bit about Tron and Tron Legacy, but the new movie Tron Aries. And I guess we all saw it. Todd, you did see it, right?
I did see it. I saw all three in like 48 hours.
I saw all three in 24 hours.
Oh, you did? No, well, really? I saw all three in like 4 days because I watched the first two.
I bleed neon. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that.
We've been spending time on the grid, apparently.
That's it.
I've been on
the grid.
I've been on the ride also. Has anyone been on the ride? So that's
No, that ride and I would not get along.
it's a pretty good ride. Very quick, but a good ride. Obviously, Disney's invested in this franchise because, when they start building, what do you think the ride like that costs? $75 million ride?
Yeah, it's got to be close to $100 million just for the facility and the infrastructure.
Then what are those crappy Avatar movies? The rides are the ride is way better than the movies. That whole world must be $500 million. Who the hell knows?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, so Disney, that's why you're going to keep seeing this crap, whether it does well or not. So, because they're invested. But that's fine. I got no problem. I like the original Avatar. That's all
Avatar
I'll say.
movies have been fine to see one time and then forget about.
I think
that's my problem with them.
I think the first Avatar was good to see and interesting, and after that, worthless. Did anyone? Did you guys see the second one in the movie theater?
Yeah.
I've seen. There's just two, right?
No, there's 5. Todd, you haven't seen all 5?
It feels like there's 5. There's only 2.
I didn't see it in the movie theaters.
Okay, so there's the water. There's the trees one, and then there's the water one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna.
I saw the trees one twice in the theater.
Did you really?
Well, because it was visually very interesting, and I saw the water one once in the theater.
I
Did you
won't see this
both times in 3D?
Yes.
Yeah, you got it, really, right?
I think it is still the best use case for 3D ever. So I think that was absolutely brilliant. I think it's the reason to watch Dances with Wolves for the 12th time. But yeah.
There's 3D is kind of, to me, it's not even like a thing anymore. I know that they still do it, and I know you can see Tron in 3D even, but
in fact, I did.
Nobody
We'll
talks about 3D.
Do they give you glasses still?
They do.
Yeah.
And it. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to it. But no, that was the absolute peak, and no one's come up with anything that was a better reason to do it.
Yeah.
And there was a period of time right after that where they were selling home for HD TVs with glasses.
Every HD TV came with.
Yeah.
I don't think this.
But they don't even. You can't even buy those anymore.
No, my LG was 3D, but not 4K. I don't think there was 3D and 4K.
It wasn't 4K yet. No,
Yeah,
it was still
it was
HD.
the step in between.
I don't have that
gimmick
TV
in
anymore.
But we had, and when we got it, we went out and we ended up having to buy extra glasses because there were 5 of us in the family.
Ugh, what a waste.
And I had a 3D Blu-ray player, and I think we watched like 4 movies, and that was the end of that.
Yeah.
But you were driving the national economy, Barry.
Well, and look, like I think I texted you guys or somebody the other day. Technology drive. I've always been on the forefront of driving technology. It used to be what I did for a living. Like I used to care enough about that I was okay spending the money. But in the case of 3D, it really didn't go anywhere.
What was the best 3D movie you saw other than Avatar?
Pacific Rim, I think.
Okay, I did see that in 3D, and that was good.
I don't know that
that's another good example of it. Not as good, but still very, very good. There was
I don't think I've seen anything other than
the fight in the water and stuff like that was really good.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I've only seen Avatar in 3D. I don't think I've seen anything else in 3D.
We have the 3D Blu-ray of Pacific Rim here, and not that I have any mechanism to play it on anymore.
Now that you feel the need, if you feel the need to watch it, yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else I saw it in 3D, and I've seen several things in 3D. I'm trying to think anything else I saw that I think would have been diminished not seeing it that way.
We used to go out of our way to try to see like movies that we thought would benefit from the 3D presentation, and now I go out of my way to avoid 3D.
Yeah, I think I will say probably a third of the films I've seen in 3D were because that was what was available at the the other ones were sold out.
Yeah,
and or the time was right, and it was like and that was the case this week. So I would have had to have seen the other one at 3:00 in the afternoon, and that wasn't going to work. But
all right, well, more on that later. Let's go some random. Todd, what do you got?
So we know that Jessica Jones is going to appear in Daredevil because there's like pictures of her on the set and stuff. But
plus she was at New York Comic Con this week talking about it.
Yep, and so I mean that's confirmed. But they are saying that there's they're kind of giving non-answers on whether she'll be coming back in a larger capacity, but very positive non-answers. There's a lot of stuff that I felt there was room to explore, and Brad and I talked about it. I'm not going to say any of it because we're going to be doing it. Okay, I mean that's a pretty solid. That's from Kristen Ritter. That is a pretty solid statement there. Now, likewise, Punisher is going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So it seems like that kind of like weird offshoot of the MCU that was kind of neglected and forgotten for years between Daredevil, Punisher, and Jessica Jones is thriving out there and has legs. So maybe getting small is a better, getting street level is a better path for them right now. We'll have to see how it goes.
Does that mean that there's hope for us to see Daisy Johnson as Quake back in the MCU at some point?
We can only hope. Not. That's
the one show that they have completely disavowed. It seems like.
Yeah, it forks. In fact, there's this whole thing where like there's just some point where they're not in the same universe with and but it doesn't start out that way. So it's interesting. I want to just know whether Coulson is still dead in the same universe as the Avengers happened in. Whether that's we're seeing.
Well, but he's dead either way, isn't he? Isn't he
No, but I'm saying whether he was ever actually revived, because again, the whole rationale for avenging was his death.
Yeah, so, true.
So if they, if that's a other thread from that point on,
they brought him back. He was like one of those LMDs or whatever, right?
Later, yes, much later. Which is honestly what they should have done from day one. They should have transferred his consciousness into a replicant, and then you're not ruining the end of Avengers, or anyways.
Can I just get a little bit of credit for pulling LMD out of my ass? Because that was a good pull.
Okay, it was good.
I've tried to forget all about S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, it was fine.
The other thing, okay, so interesting is Stark references an LMD at one point in Avengers. He as a throwaway line.
Yeah. And
then in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're invented. So, like I said, there's just all these things that just don't line up. So, it's it was fun when it was fun.
Exactly. It's if you ever given it a second thought, other than the fact that they're at a convention, I would never give S.H.I.E.L.D. another thought.
We did like a special WTF episode on that. I don't know if you remember that. Remember the in-between episode we did when Winter Soldier just utterly destroyed the premise of this TV show.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden they're like 3 episodes in, and it's like, oh, we just ended Shield. Yeah, spectacular planning. So
I don't know. I always enjoyed Chloe Bennett and Ming-Na in that show.
Oh, absolutely, I did too. I did too. I think if they, like I said, had just been upfront and said, this is a. Well, I guess they weren't doing.
Well, they weren't into the multiverse. It could have been.
I don't think
like,
they knew at the time.
This is
they
non-canon.
started it with good intentions, and then the MCU went sideways, and they didn't know.
It's funny. Yeah. James Gunn with the DCU is very. If you watch those podcasts, he's very about what's canon and not. Someone will bring up, well, what about such and such? No. That's not canon. That wasn't in. He's drawing the line on what's canon. It is,
but where it gets weird is season 1 of Peacemaker is not canon, but season 2 of Peacemaker is canon. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, he also says some elements are and some elements aren't.
Right. So it's all in its head, but it still doesn't make sense to the average viewer.
I haven't seen the last episode yet.
You haven't? Oh my!
Oh, you should watch it. It's good.
Everybody says that, and I want to have time when I can sit down and appreciate it, and I haven't had that for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I will say I give him such props for using the previously on Peacemaker to retcon the entire season. He went. If you go back, you got to. I don't know if you guys watched that, but if you at the beginning of the first episode, they say previously. And then they inserted all these things that didn't happen in the previous season to get it into continuity. And it's just brilliant. It's just so perfectly James Gunn that, it's like they're referencing characters who weren't there and then showing them. So good. So,
Barry, what do you got?
This is by far the most random thing I've ever said on this podcast. But, and I don't think we've ever mentioned Kim Kardashian on this show before, but she released something today that I just needed to talk about. Do you guys see this?
Yeah.
I'm frightened. What?
I don't know why you're even bringing it up, but whatever.
Because it's honestly, it's maybe the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. And she's got this Skims company, and she makes, underwear and whatever. She has a new type of underwear that, sorry to say, is already pre-sold out and you can't buy it, called the Ultimate Bush, and it's a G-string with pubic hair on the outside of it, like fake pubic hair.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, Barry, I'm going to give you that. That probably the most random thing that you have brought up in random topics.
I said to my wife, it feels like she's punking her people, like to say, what if I put out the most bizarre possible thing and let's see if these idiots will buy it.
They're all billionaires. They got some way to entertain themselves,
I guess.
So so here's the thing that baffles me is, why would you need a prosthetic? Why would you need a pubic hair prosthetic?
It belongs on the outside of the underwear, not on the inside of the underwear.
I just texted you the picture that I screenshot off of.
Oh, I don't want to see it. I really don't. But I'm just thinking, what is it? It's like, don't shave. I just like it's.
And it's available in multiple colors and multiple styles, whether it be straight hair or curly hair.
What you want to know why she did that? Because even you are talking about it. That's exactly why.
Yes, this is exactly
why. It was on a lot of news feeds.
That was a success.
I can understand people talking about it, but I can't understand people buying it. But yet they did.
It'll be worth money. All right, moving along. My random is completely. Well, not as random as Barry's, but this past weekend I went to a maker camp, which in upstate New York, there's they've been having maybe 5 years. They've been doing this maker camp with a bunch of different companies come in, and there's a lot of hands-on things. There's a lot of demonstration things. So in the hands-on stuff, it's sort of I guess Jimmy DeResta, famous YouTube guy, a friend of mine, not the show's. But he lives up there and very involved, so he has a lot to do with it. But so I welded something. I've never welded before. Now, those are horrible welds. That's not welds. Here's my welds for the camera, which first time welding isn't so bad. So I have a little phone stand made out of steel that I welded.
Okay, looks like something you'd make at summer camp. Very
Exactly. Well, I don't know if you would weld. It's funny. A lot of these things I've been wanting to try. This is I made a bat. This is UV curing resin. You pour the resin in, and then you hit it with a UV light, and it cures instantaneously.
I just saw a video on Tested where he was fixing something using that
I saw
stuff.
that video, and I'm like, I need to get UV resin, and there I was, and they had it. It's actually interesting. It comes in all these colors, so that's a bat. I
was shocked at how quickly that stuff cured.
With the bat shape that's existing.
No, the bat shape was like an outline, like a stained glass thing. This is like plastic.
So you didn't make that. You put the resin in.
I filled in all the
and cured it. Okay.
Blue and the.
I couldn't believe how quickly that stuff cures with the UV light.
It was pretty cool. I want to get some. They sold kits. Well, they had kits that and gave you a discount code to buy them. So I want to play around with that stuff. And I actually powder coated something. Here's the Maker Camp logo cut out of steel, and I made it Adventure Team Yellow.
Nice.
Powder coating is way easier than I thought it was. It's this, so the metal hangs on a hook that has an electric charge running through it, and you spray this powder on it, and it just sticks. I was like, what do I got to do? He's like, just flood the powder on there, and then it goes in an oven and cures. And it's this, we've all seen powder coating. It's actually cool. And this stuff, this is a steel. It's like 16th inch steel. This is made by a company called Send Cut Send. I don't know if I know.
Yeah, sure.
I turned Brian onto them, but they will now cut metal. They'll bend it and they'll powder coat it for you. So that's interesting. If you need metal, something to do. The last thing I made was a turkey call out of walnut. Here's a turkey call. That's what turkey's like. So anyway, it was a fun weekend. Did a lot of hands-on stuff.
I hear thumping from inside my freezer.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Thanksgiving
really good.
Turkeys. Well, you know what I may do with this? Maybe in another 2 weeks, about 3 miles that way, east, there is a farm, and every year there is this sort of Kwanzaa hut filled with turkeys. Surprisingly, by the end of November, those turkeys are not there. I don't know where they moved them to, but they're not there anymore. I can just imagine what happens to them.
The week before last, I was at the range, and I was driving in, and I saw these turkeys like wandering across the lawn, and I was like, oh, these wild turkeys. And then I'm shooting, and I look up, and there's berms between the individual ranges. The turkeys are up on the range, on the berms, watching me. And it's like, these are turkeys.
Were they holding up signs with numbers? Because then you're in real trouble.
But it was like these are turkeys that have spent a whole lot of time around the firing range.
And they're not concerned.
They were not at all bothered. They were not at all bothered by the fact that I was shooting like 25 feet away from them. They're lined up on top of the bank like they're having a conversation. Oh, and I was like, okay.
I think at that point they become fair game as targets, no?
Yeah, well, I'd be shooting unsafely if I shot something on top of the berm, but still, it's
poor turkeys don't.
And they were to my side, not directly in front of me, but still, it was just like I was like,
they have no fear of. Supposedly hard to hunt a turkey.
They are very dumb creatures. Okay, but I had never.
I had two wild turkeys running down the street right outside my neighborhood a couple weeks ago. As I pulled out of my community, I'm like, "There's wild turkeys."
Yeah,
we have turkeys across the street. I'm pretty sure the coyotes eat them because the coyotes.
Where you are is a little more wooded than where I am.
Yeah.
But anyway, if anyone needs to call a turkey, I have it for you. So there you go.
Dave's got you covered.
I got you covered. Well, that was fun. Anyway, Maker Camp. If you're ever interested in going, it's upstate New York. It was a good time. Any more random?
Just to help avoid any confusion anybody might have, I want to make sure everybody's clear. Apple TV Plus has now been rebranded to Apple TV. No more Plus. So don't get confused.
What was the whole point of Plus?
Because that's what everyone was doing.
Everybody else had Plus.
Was they have a product called Apple TV, and they have a service called Apple TV Plus. So now they both have a product and a service with the same name. It's
Well, there are rumors abound that they're announcing a new Apple TV device at their next thing in the next week or two, and maybe they'll rename it. Who knows?
That makes no sense whatsoever.
it's called Barry. Brace yourself. It's called the Apple TV Plus.
I know, that's what I'm thinking.
That would make more sense.
It truly would make more sense, but still. But if they flip the names in those, how messed up is that?
No, they'll probably call it Apple TV Air because they're going to make it smaller.
Oh God. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. They were supposed to make like actual TVs. They never did that. They don't really need to.
They realized that was a mistake.
Yeah.
They don't make monitors. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, yeah. So
TVs, and I'm not even going to go down that road. Other than manufacturing TV models is a big undertaking because everybody wants a different size, everybody wants different features. It's really hard.
And they wouldn't just have someone else make it for them.
You would be surprised at how few companies actually manufacture TVs.
Yeah, there's like two. That's what I'm saying. But Apple would do. No one's buying a $4,000 television anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Now, whether you know it or not, a lot of you are sitting in front of an LG screen. It just has a different name on it.
Yeah.
Or Hisense.
Yeah, that's what I said. But again, it's yeah.
So, no other random? That seemed.
Well, you said to keep it
I
tight.
did.
I've got 5 more, but I'm holding them.
You know what I'm not holding is I'm not holding back my love for Fanboy Collectibles. That was a stretch, but
we do love them.
XO6 Star Trek Beyond Spock, and we talked about this. Like, I do like that uniform because the other Star Trek always looked like sort of just a t-shirt and a shirt, so that was a little more formal. I do like that costume, that uniform. Return of the Revenge of the Sith, Mustafar Kenobi with all the burnt little outfit
and the platform. Did you say it comes with that whole lava mining platform? It's awesome.
Yeah. Hot Toys Clone Wars ARC Trooper Echo. Sleepy Hollow Pops just in time for the Halloween season. Plus Sideshow and Kotobukiya and Hasbro and everything you need. It's scary as it is. We are, is it true? 70 days till Christmas?
That's nuts if that's true.
I think that's true. Well, it's the 15th.
Yeah.
25th. Roughly like 2.5 months away from the holidays. The holiday season. So it's not too late or too early to start. It's not too early to start doing your shopping. So check those guys out. They got everything you need. A bunch of stuff I'm sure will be coming out. See them at fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut, and tell them the regular Joe sent you. They got everything you want. Okay. Unfortunately, somebody pretty influential with a lot of movies of the past, 40 years, right? More than that. Drew Struzan passed away. Poster artist, illustrator, depends how you want to define him, but he was only 78. Now, we always talk about that's way too young.
Yes.
You know, you start saying 88 and you're like, all right, that's a good run. 78, no way. That is way too young. But
yeah,
we've talked, it's funny, of all the poster artists there are, and there's Amstel, and there's that other dude who did the Apocalypse Now one, and Bob Peak, and I think we've talked about Drew Struzan on this show a lot, multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, the Hildebrandt brothers have done a lot. I mean, there's some people that are sort of well known for movie posters, but I think Drew Struzan was probably the most prolific and probably the most requested movie poster artist ever.
Yeah, I think he's also, interestingly enough, and I have his book called The Art of Drew Struzan. You should check it out. It's got a lot of cool stuff. It's written by him, so there's a whole story about each of the works. There was a lot of stuff that he was commissioned for and wasn't used. I mean, that's probably the case with a lot of people. Sometimes studios would have multiple people on the project and then they pick one, but he definitely talks about it because there are some things that he's totally missed the boat on after doing a lot of good work. But but he's done Back to the Future and Big Trouble in
Harry
Little China
Potter
and
movies
Harry
and-
Potter and
The other thing is I think you got to think in a lot of these cases they're probably telling him what they want, and they're putting out. You know what I'm saying? He's not like pulling this out of his head. They're kind of giving an idea, and then they're looking at his and other artists, and they're deciding which, what they feel. So it's it's a commission. One way or another, it's a commission. It just happens to be, in a lot of cases, it doesn't happen to be the one chosen.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the Star Wars poster that he did for the first Star Wars movie, it ended up being used later, but it wasn't it ended up not being the one they went with initially, but then it was in theaters for so long, they felt like they had to keep refreshing the poster, and then they ultimately used his artwork.
Yep.
Yeah. He talks about a lot of different stuff. In fact, sometimes they would just give like a very broad concept and he'd come up with it. Sometimes they would lay out exactly what they wanted. Interesting enough, I just read a thing. He did a poster for the Thing. He had to do it in a day and literally cranked it out. And that was the poster that they used. So he had never seen the movie or read the script. They just sort of said, we need this, do this. Well,
and that's wild, but when you think about that poster really has nothing to do with the content of the movie.
Exactly, but it's effective.
It's a great poster.
Yeah.
It's a memorable poster, too.
Yep.
Do you guys have a favorite poster that comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, mine is the Star Wars Circus poster. I've always loved that poster.
Yeah, that is. I think I like that better than the original poster. Todd?
I think of his posters as being like a bunch of heads, because that's very, very that's a very, very common theme in those, like the Blade Runner poster and like the Temple of Doom poster, which is why the Back to the Future poster is the one that does it.
That's my second favorite. I had that as my
backup.
backup.
It's unlike all the other, a lot of the other ones, and whereas the other ones are just kind of like much more collagey, and it represents the film well.
Well, the interesting
and I like that when he did the posters for the second and third movie, he sort of used that as the template for the future posters, and they all kind of, if you looked at them together, they all go really well together.
That's the most interesting section of this book. And I don't know if do you have it, Barry?
I don't, but I had put it in my Amazon cart yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm holding this up for these guys more than for anything. But like, this was the original concept of the poster. Just like sort of the feet and his are modern and there. I mean, there must be like multiple incarnations. Like, all these. But it's also, like I said, if you scan over his stuff, I mean, like, I love the Big Trouble in Little China poster. There's a lot of things like that, but it is the one that is the least evocative of anything else he did. And I do like how in the second one it's him and Doc looking at their watches, and then in the third one they're looking at pocket watches, which is cool. I do love the Blade Runner poster that Todd and I have signed by a bunch of people. To me,
and he's one of those artists that even if you don't know his name, when you look at a bunch of his posters all together, like, the style is so identifiable as the same artist, whether you know the guy's name or not. It was like you would see a poster, go, oh, that's that movie poster guy that always does all the movie posters. Like, his art is just so, he had a very unique, identifiable style.
Yeah. But this Blade Runner poster totally makes me feel the way the movie feels. It's got a lot of atmosphere, and you really has all the iconic images of all the characters. Like, the picture of Rachel is how I always think of Rachel, the rain and stuff. I love that poster. So anyway, way too young, a super talent, Drew Struzan. If you don't know his work, I mean, there's stories online, but check it out. Or I highly recommend that book. And rest in peace. It's a loss for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okie dokie.
Makes me very happy that I talked about it earlier in the year, but earlier this year I had gotten the Star Wars 10th anniversary poster that he did signed by him. And
Oh, you did? I didn't
glad
know
I
that.
got that.
Yeah. When I bought this book, I actually got an Indiana Jones print that was signed by him.
Yeah.
They were offering it with the book, so I'm happy. I wanted to get him on my
Yes, Blade
on
Runner.
my Blade Runner, and he did shows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I keep on getting messages from Not Your Average Joe's Restaurant. It's not. I had been there once, but sorry, I can't help you.
They have a great web address.
Yeah.
I know they bought it from you,
They
right?
bought it from me.
So I would love to know how many times he drew a large version of Harrison Ford's head, because that is, he draws him drew him very, very well, or painted him very, very well. But it's like, as I'm going through his posters, there's about 11 depictions of Harrison Ford's head that are 25% of the poster. So, anyways, fantastic, amazing career.
Yeah, really major talent. Okay, we're going to talk about Tron and Tron Aries. We all, like we said at the beginning, we all saw it. All saw all of them within the past week or so.
So before you say anything, because I know where you're going.
No, you don't. You do not know where I'm going. Okay.
Yeah, we know where you're going, Dave.
Let me just start with the new version of Tron that is available on Disney Plus. It's a 4K restoration. Whether you like the movie or not, in my opinion, it's stunningly beautiful to look at in 4K. And having seen it not that long ago, pre-restoration, and seeing how far they've taken it, visually it's amazing. And I think they finally realized the vision of what they had 40 plus years ago, but they just weren't able to really deliver it. And I feel like they've actually delivered it now. And regardless of and we'll get into whether we like it or not, it's beautiful now, to me anyway.
Okay. That said, that original film is unwatchable right now based on the graphics. I mean, it's like
the non 4K one.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The film with the original graphics as it exists is a brutal.
But what's interesting, because I watched an entire documentary on the restoration, they didn't redo the graphics. They just cleaned it up and color corrected it. They did not redo them. It's a restoration. It's not a George Lucas, I'm going to replace the effects with digital effects. That to me is what's so stunning about it, is they went through and they just made it look the way it was supposed to look. They did not go in and replace things with digital effects.
It is incredibly boring. It's unwatchable. I don't care what it looks like. To me, it's worse than I thought it was. It's just
That's
so
why I wanted to give it
boring.
some praise before you said anything.
It's
I
so
will say,
boring.
visually, it is dramatically improved. Okay, because
All right.
in when the other one came out was the last time I watched Tron, so that's 15 years ago. 12, whatever it was. Okay, and that was the last time I rewatched Tron, and it was very flat, and it was very the graphics didn't pop at all. And I don't think that was the only thing wrong with it, but I'm saying this was stunning difference between the two.
We did a whole Tron show,
fixed
didn't we?
The
We did.
graphics.
We did.
To me, for the first hour, I was actually engaged in the movie. It fell apart. I'm not saying I loved it. I thought the first 50 minutes were actually far more compelling than I remembered them being, but then it went off a cliff for me.
I'll give him 25. It's surprising, and I don't know. We've only been on the air for 13 years, say 13 and a half years. We've done a Tron show, so we
did.
We did not see it 15 years ago. We have seen it since then. I don't know when it was. It's I'm sure we can figure that out. But so we've watched it. I didn't remember almost any of it. That's how
I'm the same. I told you the other
forgettable
night.
it is.
I didn't remember 90% of it either, and that's maybe why I was actually shocked at how much I was enjoying it but then I wasn't.
Really? I mean, I get it was interesting to see how much it looked, but 25 minutes in, and you're right, they're in the Matrix or whatever the hell it's called.
The grid.
So, like, 15 minutes into the movie, I really thought there was a whole.
That is one of the things that I will say. There's a complete inversion of that in the new film. Okay, the second film follows the same model somewhat, where they get sucked in and they're in there.
There's a little better, I will say, while I enjoyed Legacy more than I remembered enjoying it, a little more. I think there's a little more of a story there that makes
there definitely
a little
is.
more sense.
And it uses Tron as a springboard well. Okay, if you just have nostalgia for Tron and haven't rewatched it, it's eminently watchable in that way because they tie it in together. They hit all the points that they need to.
Well, and it's more tied to the original story than
much more tied.
This new one barely ties to it.
I will say this: watching these three films back to back, it became extremely clear that this entire franchise suffers from one problem, and that's they're making up the rules as they go along. So anything is possible, and that does not make for an interesting story. When if they don't spell out the rules if you don't know the rules of the game, and you're kind of making up the rules as you go along, it's like
but technology has changed, so the rules can change.
No, but what I'm saying is there's no. It's like that what's going to happen is they're going to come up with a way to defeat the game in a way that they did not tell you previously. Okay, that happens in all three of the films. So it's kind of like it's just like okay, there's no real, I mean, how they're going to get out of it, how it's going to, and it's all about like the only difference between the films is whether they manage to develop an affinity for the characters or not.
But we have, and we're jumping, I guess, now into the new movie, but we've seen two things very recently that had a technology company led by a young guy that was kind of willing to do anything, right? We saw that in Alien, and we saw it in this movie. I thought they pulled it off so much better in Alien Earth than they did in the new movie. Like I found that the boy, whatever his name was, in Alien Earth, more compelling than I found the CEO in this movie.
I thought that guy did a good job.
It was okay, but
he was.
I thought they were very much. He was a little more ruthless and less full of himself. I thought they were.
It was
similar.
an interesting thing to me that in the new movie, and again, we probably should say one more time, spoiler alert, everybody. But in the new movie, the two competing technology companies, one of them is building military hardware, and one of them is making games. And the one that's making games is the one that is trying to solve like world hunger. And like it was a little weird to me that would be where that company would go. And this whole
I don't think they were trying to do. I think it was just an after effect of what they found.
Well, but their experiments were about how do we create fruit trees that won't disappear so we can feed hungry people.
I agree. They're trying to make.
They were trying to make the world a better place.
They're trying to generate warriors.
It's a novel idea these days. No one seems to want to do that. Maybe we need more of that.
You know what I did find interesting is that we had callbacks to David Warner, okay, as the grandfather Dillinger, okay. Do you remember in the second film who his heir was? He had a cameo.
I don't even remember.
At the table?
Yeah, Cillian Murphy, who isn't even credited in the movie.
He isn't even. It was just a throw. He's sitting there, just like, oh yeah.
Well, same with that dude who played the son.
One line, and then basically, they replaced him with apparently his sister, Gillian Anderson. Okay, and and I think in one of the news things they mentioned that
they probably weren't going to get Cillian Murphy either. He didn't want to come back, or they couldn't get him.
But it was just interesting that it's still this family, but we're just now we're now we're moving on to even another version of this generation.
By the way, they wrote the son out too.
Older British woman perfectly. I thought she was great.
Been doing that a lot. So
yeah, she's in a lot of British television.
Yeah, she is.
The thing, if you go way back, and I don't know what this did in the box office, it's just shocking that there's not this movie, the first movies.
Oh,
it's shocking that there were 2 sequels. I mean, like, and I get it's more economics because Disney owned it outright and blah,
Disney
blah, blah.
owned it, and the I'm more surprised that with the performance of Legacy that they made another. They took them 15 years and they made this.
Legacy did like $400 million, I think. And I tried to. I was talking to Barry about this. I tried to put myself in the mindset of someone seeing Tron in 1982, and there's a lot of talk of bits and RAM and master control. That's like a foreign language in 1982, and the fact that even hearing it now, it's just boring. But back then, it was like, what are they talking about? I mean, there was a lot of technical talk that no one in 1982 would have a clue of what they're talking about.
Yeah, because someone read the glossary in a technical manual in a computer manual and just made all the
in the TRS-80 computer manual.
But here's the thing, and this is why I recommended to both of you that you see the first 2 before you see the new one. It's not like you would have been lost if you hadn't, but the fact that they went back to terms like master control and knowing what that meant in the context of this universe, I was a little surprised that they clung to that, because when you've got a movie that came out in 82, a movie that came out 15 years ago, and it's not like these are the world's biggest franchises that people have been clamoring for. So to have so many callbacks to things that happen, like even when they get to the 1980s grid, and they're driving the light cycle through the little crack in the wall. Like, it's the same exact crack in the wall from the first movie.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't have seen those other 2 movies, I wouldn't have even made those connections.
Yeah, it's good. There are a lot of fans of Tron. I personally don't get it. And are those are those the nerds who owned like a $4,000 Radio Shack computer at the time? And they're like, this is computer stuff. You're talking about RAM. I love Tron. I don't know who loves Tron. From the beginning.
About Tron the most
is the motivation for this the ride? I mean, is it like, does Disney think that this is going to keep interest going in that?
I think when they thought, and again, the big new advancement in this new movie is that they bring the things out of the grid into the real world. I think they thought that concept had enough legs that if this movie did well, then they could now launch off and do a movie every 3 years. But
they may anyway.
Oh, there's reports out that they're already backing away from the 4th one.
But there's like we said, there's a ride that costs more than the movie cost. What are they going to do?
That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering whether this is partly to prop that up, and they're not probably caring as much about how this doesn't, though this was a blow, I'm sure. But I'm saying this is going to be on Disney Plus, and a bajillion people are going to see it on Disney Plus, and it keeps the name out there, and it keeps it going.
I'm not sure, though. I don't think if you don't already have some kind of affinity for this, are kids today going to be like, oh, I want to see that Tron Aries movie?
Oh, I want to, but that's not how streaming stuff works, Barry. I mean, people, it's like, oh, what's on? Okay, that's new. Okay, it's not seeking it out. It's not going out and dropping your money to see it in the theater and committing to it. It's more the way you guys watch TV than I do, where you just it happens to be on and you watch it. The kids I talk to all the time, that's how they see things. Oh, I just saw this thing, and they're like, okay, wait a minute. So you just saw Raiders of the Lost Ark and you had no idea what it was? It popped up, and yeah.
The other weird thing is that the movie that came out 15 years ago, Tron Legacy, ends with a clear indication of where that movie goes next. And this movie happens, and they don't touch on that until the final shot of the movie.
But not even the final shot of the movie.
If they were if the plan was to bring those together in the fourth
characters together in the 4th movie. Did you guys see the post-credit sequence?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That was
which is also. Again, had I not just rewatched Tron, I would have been
likewise.
like, "What the hell is this?"
I would have been like, that looks kind of familiar. Yeah.
What was the post credit? I've totally drawn a blank on it.
Evan Peters gets transformed. Dillinger, young Dillinger, gets transformed into Master Control from
Tron, the original Tron.
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah.
with the frisbee disc.
With the frisbee disc, yeah.
Like Granddad's frisbee is sitting there in a kiosk, and he goes over and picks it up. And
Okay.
Yeah.
That didn't make too much sense to me.
But the entire movie, they're basically the two main characters from Tron Legacy are absent, and then as he gets out of the grid and gets on a motorcycle to drive away, he looks at a picture of the two of them, and presumably he's going to go find them.
Well, one had coordinates, longitude, latitude. I guess that was going to tie it in for the next one.
I don't think we're ever going to see that movie, and even if we did, I mean, they'd have to pay them a fortune probably to want to come back.
Olivia Wilde, yeah, but the dude who's on the bartender on Tulsa King, he'll come back.
Yeah. Olivia Wilde doesn't need it though.
Yeah, he's not real busy, and honestly, I don't think she's got that much going.
Well, she's direct stuff now. Let her direct it.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying she can make time for this.
All right, let's.
Did you guys like the movie? We haven't gotten to that yet. Did you like the new
I want to hear
Tron
Todd
Aries?
say what Todd says.
I think it was an interesting idea. I did not. I will say the reverse of what you said about the original. I found the last 15, 20 minutes of it far more interesting than the rest of the film. I think it was very predictable. You know, but from the point that we got into the hardcore nostalgia part, you know, where we got to see Jeff Bridges and they generated the pursuer, whatever. What's the thing called? The big staple
spaceship thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The staple. Yeah, big staple.
The big staple thing. It's something like that. It's a
pursuer or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I found it more interesting from that point on, and there were moments when I wasn't sure I was going to stay awake earlier. I wasn't all that vested into the main character. I didn't find her all that interesting or compelling, or any of those other random people that were in there. You know, I thought he was somewhat interesting, but not hugely compelling. It was a visual thing, and until it became very good as a visual thing, I didn't find it that interesting. I like Tron Legacy. I actually like it. I think it does a good job springboarding off the first film. It's a better film than the first film. It's more interesting in a whole lot of ways, and visually, there's nothing they do in this film that, you know, I think is worthy of being 15 years past that film. So,
I sort of disagree with that.
I feel like that has to do with how you may have seen it. Now, I'm sure you could all think what I thought. I actually really enjoyed it.
Did you?
I saw it in IMAX, and between the soundtrack and the visuals, it was not, I want to say emotional, but you really felt this movie. I mean,
yes.
The place was rumbling, and it's interesting. The sound they have with this IMAX theater it wasn't like, oh my God, that's way too loud, but it was so on top of you. It was, and I think that had a lot to do with what I enjoyed it. I mean, I knew going into the story, it's a straightforward thing. It's, you know, good guy, bad guy. I mean, that simple story was fine, but I did like Greta Lee, and Jared Leto is like the most unsuccessful, compelling box office draw. I mean, the guy has no hits whatsoever, but he is a compelling dude for whatever reason.
He's got like a great Q score or something like that because they just keep casting him.
Yeah,
this was his baby a little partially anyway.
Yeah, well, and this movie has been in development and in the works for like 7 years. They've been working on it for a long time before allegations and other things happened that might have tainted his celebrity. But
I look at him and I'm like, if you're creating a computer guy, why does he have a beard and long hair? That just makes no sense. And then I'm like, why does anyone have a face? But you can't go down that road.
Why would you give them a personality? Why would you in any way make them individual when, all you really got to do is like dial up their skill level? That's all you want.
I feel like their personalities grew from.
That's what I'm saying. But you've got to make that
their experience.
You've got to make that like explained, and you got to make that part of the story. And
there would be no story if they were just blank machines.
There was so much of the exposition in this film was served up on TV screens. And it was just like, okay, we know we can't have Jeff Bridges narrating the whole thing
because he can't fit the word man in, in it. How many times?
That is the character. Okay?
No, that's the dude. It wasn't the original guy.
Oh, he totally did that. No, he totally did.
Yeah, he did actually.
Yes, he did. No,
He
that's
fell
him
asleep
staying in
watching
character.
their first Tron. Probably
That is him staying in character. But what I'm saying is like when your plot is thin, so thin or unintelligible that you're constantly relying on insets of TV news reports to explain what's going on. It's just like I don't
think it was unintelligible. I think it was actually kind of straightforward.
I thought it was very straight. That's what I appreciated. It's like two competing companies, good and bad. I did like how they. Now there's laser printers basically making stuff. It was straightforward. The real world versus the what they call it. You said the Matrix or whatever. The grid made more sense to me in this movie than it did in all the other movies. It wasn't so heavy-handed and complicated about what the grid was. It was a little more just like straightforward. And I give him credit, as cool as those motorcycles were in the real world, it wasn't like 40 minutes of it the way it was in the first movie. I mean, that was
but I will say that chase through the city, I thought that was awesome.
I thought it was awesome, but then
seen that in the trailer where they split the police car in half. But that to me, and I have to agree with you. But I didn't see IMAX, but I saw it in the X Plus theater at my theater, which is the top of the line theater with the Barco lasers and the Atmos sound system. And I felt the same way, Dave. And I think this movie needs to be, if you're going to see it at all, see it on as big of a screen as you can with the best sound system, because the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack and the visuals were
really stunning.
50% of the experience.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean,
and it was Nine Inch Nails. It's not just Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor. They actually said that they approach those things differently. When they do soundtracks as Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, they do one thing. When they do Nine Inch Nails, they do it different. And it really...
They
didn't pump up the Nine Inch Nails-ness of it, but when they did, it was like, holy shit, this is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard.
And I didn't, I knew going, it wasn't going to be this complicated thing, but it was fun. I sat there
I actually really enjoyed it too. I'm actually shocked that
I sat there saying to myself, am I really enjoying this? I'm really enjoying this. And meanwhile, there's no one around. I'm literally in the middle of IMAX, like with 4 other people.
I was there opening day at 2:00 in the afternoon, and I was one of 5 people in the theater.
Yeah,
but
I was just shocked that I'm like,
we saw it 3D. There were 6 people in the theater.
Yeah,
I was shocked. I was enjoying it so much. I'm like, this is actually fun. It was fun.
I'm probably more shocked than you that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know you would be, but and
I like Greta Lee. I've seen her in other things. I don't see her as an action hero. And I didn't necessarily believe her on the motorcycles, but I thought she was okay.
She's subtle, which is good. It doesn't have to be this damsel in distress.
But the thing is, there was also just like, well, okay, you can call it subtle. I just feel like she was walking through the thing. I didn't feel like there was anything other than like when she's talking about the dead sister that we cared about, or she cared about, and and then she's running away. and we get a lot of that.
But she's not the star of this movie. I mean, Jared Leto.
I know
is
that.
The
But I'm
star.
saying she is, but she's so she's so.
And
maybe,
I'm not a huge Jared Leto fan. I found him to be really compelling in this movie,
and I think
thought
he
was
did.
good.
I was going to say that. I think he did a better job than she did, and I felt like I related more to him than I did to her.
I think she was a vehicle to move the. It's funny. She's the real person, but was really just a vehicle to sort of move the story. When he was the one who was really. I know he is one of these dudes who I feel like I don't want to like him, but I do like him. I don't know why.
No. Well, go back and watch Morpheus. Morbius. So, can you explain to me how the little band things will cut through police cars and sever wings off planes, but you can bang against them with your hands?
They're not lasers. They're hard objects. That's what I didn't realize.
Okay,
I always thought they were like lasers.
Hard objects do not burn through things and generate sparks as they go.
No, that was the metal.
The edges will burn through, but the sides don't burn through.
No. That if you shot a police car at 100 miles an hour at a giant knife, it would do the same thing. A giant immovable knife.
No, it would crush against the knife. Okay, it would not slice. It would not slice with burning edges and emit sparks. Okay, it would not do that.
Can I? Okay, here's what it was really cool.
We'll call Mythbusters in and have them try this.
It was really cool. That's why they did it.
Yes, but if you can't overthink it, and that's the main thing here.
It's like okay.
So worldwide box office for the first opening weekend was 66,800,000 and change. What was the budget on this thing? 200 million?
180.
Yeah, so
I enjoyed it.
Not
it
an
was
overwhelming,
fun.
and that's worldwide. So I could see this doing well overseas, and combine. It was 40 million domestic, 26 international.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, I got to say, I suggest that the title for this episode is Third Time's a Charm, because I hate the first two. I mean, I hate the first one.
See, I like the second one much better than this. I found it interesting. I felt like I knew where it was going. I understood why it was doing it. This was kind of like, okay, let's just keep doing visually interesting things till we run out the clock.
I like the second one quite a bit. I like this one more, but it's also
no.
I think it, and I thought that the Daft Punk soundtrack in the last one was great. I thought that the soundtrack in this one was
sitting there in that theater.
I did like the Mozart versus Daft Punk thing. That was interesting.
Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode thing. The Depeche Mode thing. That was interesting.
So can we talk about toys for a minute? Because I did think it was interesting. New York Comic Con was this past week, and Hasbro announced 6-inch Tron Legacy figures. Not Tron Aries figures, but 6-inch Tron Legacy figures. And then they are doing a HasLab for the original Tron. I don't know if you guys saw this.
I saw the HasLab thing.
So Hasbro has a brand new thing that they're calling Hasbro 375, which is 3 3/4 inch figures. Like, that's not a new thing. But they've got 5 original Tron figures from the first Tron movie with 2 light cycles on a light-up base, and they are charging $260 for that.
Wait, for 3 3/4 inch?
For 5 3 3/4 inch figures, 2 light cycles, and a light-up base. There's 40 days left for the HasLab. They need 10,000 backers to fund this thing. They have 941 backers so far.
I'll take Jared Leto on that red cycle. I would buy that in like a 6-inch thing.
Honestly, if this thing was $200, I would probably buy it. $260 for 5 figures and 2 light cycles is dumb. And clearly, like, these HasLabs usually get a burst at the beginning, and then they kind of. There's 491 people that have backed this thing so far.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry, 941. That is really
Todd. This can't happen on video.
Really bad.
I'm looking it up. Okay.
That's okay. You can look up the HasLab. It's a really
But
amazing.
There's nothing with the new movie. And there's no toys for the new movie?
There's nothing with the new movie that they've announced.
That's crazy.
Why would you announce 6-inch figures the week that the movie came out for a movie from 15 years ago.
That makes no sense.
And then your HasLab is for a movie that came out 43 years ago.
I wonder if those figures are the same figures they released 15 years ago.
I don't think they did 6-inch.
There was Tron Legacy
there
stuff.
There are actually 7-inch Tron figures that are Diamond Select that are currently available.
Can I get the one of the old dude who's like just a blob with a head? Do they have him?
Anyway, look up these figures when you get a chance. They look incredible. They've done great job sculpting those characters in 3 3/4 inch, but the prices and that's what everything I've seen is. Everybody's like, I was in until I saw the price.
No, anyway, do we want to give a number to all 3 movies?
I can.
I don't think it's fair.
But then why? To who? The movie?
I think you got to if you're going to say what number you would give the first Tron in 1982, I think
What's
that
the
would
difference?
be.
I'm rewatching it. I would have given it this. Who has to be fair?
Okay, yeah,
it's our show.
Okay. Sure, go for it. Go ahead,
Barry. You want to go first? I'll go. You go.
I'll go first. So, I'm not grading Tron from the original time I saw it when I was a kid. I'm grading it based on the 4K restoration I just watched, and I actually give that a 7.
All right, wait. What time is it? I got to just make sure I edit that. Okay, go ahead.
What are you taking out my grade?
You're going to take out your number 7.
Okay.
Holy shit.
I give it a 7.
Okay.
I give Tron Legacy a 7.
Oh, my God.
And I give Tron Aries an 8.
I give Tron, I give it a 3. I give Legacy a 5, and I give Aries a 7.5.
I'd give Tron a 5. I'd give Tron Legacy a 6.5, and I'd give Aries a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just added Barry's. 7.
Listen,
7 for
line,
the original Tron? Oh, my God.
Based purely on the experience I had rewatching it last week. Go ahead, hold up your Crystal Skull.
It's not even Crystal Skull. It doesn't make any sense. How is that Crystal Skull?
Visually blew my mind at how great it looked. I thought it looked like it was made last year, like the way that they've fixed it.
Yeah, and they didn't fix the story. I need George Lucas in here. Add some dewbacks.
The story
in there.
doesn't bother me as much as you. Like I said, it goes off a cliff, but
oh my God,
I was actually
mind-numbing.
all in for the first 45, 50 minutes.
You were what?
I was all in for like the first 45, 50 minutes. I'm like, this is so much better than I remember. And then I'm like, oh, wait. No.
I really thought we were going to see a lot of how he built the thing and a little more real world. And there's none of that. There's nothing.
I'm just going to say this. Okay, so you guys are both retired. Okay. If on company time you happen to create 4 video games on company time using company servers, would you have the expectation that belonged to you? Because maybe things were different in 1982, but I don't think that's a reasonable expectation today.
No, today it's not, and I don't think it was back then, but from what I gathered watching it, it sounded like they screwed him out of something.
Yeah,
like,
they told us he was looking for the memo.
That's why he wanted the
but
paperwork.
And
he did own it, and they screwed him out of it.
But he didn't own it. He clearly explained that he did it at work on the company equipment, okay, and that the other guy took it and took credit for it. Now, take it and take credit for it is very different than...
But I think that he had an agreement that said he did own it, and that's what they cheated him out of.
And in 1982, it was probably a different deal. Because no one was building shit like that.
Yeah. I'm watching this, I'm like, dude, you have such a claim on this that they're going to give you the company.
Well, they did.
So that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying it's like, boy, that's not the world that we live in.
No, in today's world, if you work for a technology company, anything that you create while working for them is their property.
I think if you work at any company, anything it's like if you're making freaking light bulbs, Okay, at the end of the day, they're not your light bulbs.
No, you're right. I mean, look, my last 10 years of my career was product development. I never had any expectations that I owned the rights to any of the things I worked on.
That's what I'm saying. It just seemed like his attitude was like, and they were like, "Oh, it's terrible that they did this." It's like,
but it was 1982, man.
Yeah, man.
Man, come on, man. It's like, this is my ideas. Yeah. So,
I mean, the guy owned and lived in an arcade. What do you expect?
With an underground thing. How did he build that? I mean,
Well, the arcade was an existing building that clearly had that bunker back from, I don't know. It was a speakeasy at one point.
There you go. Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
I will say I appreciated in both films getting to see the arcade again in one form or another. I find it unlikely that it hasn't been redeveloped into something, but I guess...
Or that all you have to do is flip one switch and all those computers fire right back up.
Yeah. There's a lot of callbacks in these films. But again, like I said, I will watch it again. I might enjoy it more next time, the new one. It's just, like I said, I was really hoping to see something that compelling that we hadn't seen before.
I wasn't looking for a compelling story going into it. So
and I thought
it was
the idea
fun, and that was all I was looking for.
Moving them to the real world, which is a complete flip on what they've done, I thought that would be really interesting. But then we get into the same thing, like, oh yeah, they can do whatever they want. There's no, I think we saw that Athena for more than 29 minutes. Okay. In that, the end thing, it's like, they had this hard and fast thing that like, oh, they couldn't exceed 29 minutes, but then, that didn't seem to matter. So, anyways, like I said, visually, it very interesting.
It was fun. I don't recommend you spending
if you're
money.
Listening and you're planning on seeing it as big and as loud as you can.
I don't always push IMAX, but see this in IMAX. It was pretty involved.
And if someone crashes a light cycle near you, just be aware. All you've got to do is just like randomly look around and push buttons on it, and then you'll be able to drive it.
Yeah,
totally. Well, she knew motorcycles. So there you go. All right. Let's do some what's in the box.
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Barry, what's in the box?
Well, I'm going to cheat a little bit because it didn't come in a box, but I was in a comic book store today, and I found something that I bought. So I'm just going with that.
That counts.
I got
God.
Darth Vader action figure case from the 80s.
That is not what I expected.
No, I showed Todd something else that I bought already, but I have a very extensive vintage Star Wars figure collection, but I didn't have one of these cases, and when I saw it in the store, and it's not perfect, there's scratches and whatever, but the price was right, so I grabbed it, and it's you guys have seen these before,
yeah.
right? There's no figures in it, but
and they have the names on it. That's
the
interesting.
names are there, and I didn't look inside the little trap door. I don't think there's anything in there. No, it's
a vinyl Cape Jawa.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be amazing?
Just jammed in there.
Yeah. So I got that, and just for Dave's sake, I also got Machine Man #1.
Oh, jeez.
Because it was on the wall, and Todd knew I remembered this book because I had talked to him about it, and it was so. I mean, I've seen them and they're faded and whatever. This one is
one of Kirby's last creations, if not his last creation.
Oh, really?
So I got Machine Man #1. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to.
That's cool.
So that's what I had in the box. Todd, what's in the box?
Okay, so I got this from Troy a couple weeks ago. It is a Mondo Batman Beyond figure. So it's this is a weird large box that was very expensive to ship because it was weird and large. I talked to you guys about that at the time, but I love Batman Beyond. It's probably my at least top 3 favorite 90s cartoons and definitely in the top 3. And it comes with a bunch of hands and accessories, whatever. He looks just like the character, the way Darwin Cook designed him. I have another smaller figure, but this is very cool, and they don't make enough Batman Beyond stuff. So I'm very pleased to have this, and because he's all kind of like solid plastic, I don't have to worry about him getting dusty. So I think I'm going to put him high on top of like one of my cabinets, looking down over the city, and just very, very cool. Awesome figure, really well done.
Is he moving? Is it articulation?
Oh yeah, no, he's an action figure. He's fully articulated. Comes in different hands, different batarangs. The wings come off and move, and he's got enough hands that you can put him in all kinds of different positions. Batman, basically, this was meant to be Batman's last iteration of the bat suit, and he took it out, put it on, went into action, and had a heart attack, and then it got stored, and then Terry McGinnis, who's the main character in that show, finds his way into the Batcave and becomes the new Batman, and so it's kind of cool because he's got this suit that has all these capabilities built into it, but he has no idea what they are. So, he's using this kind of stolen technology. And like I said, it's a great show. If you have not watched it, I highly recommend it. Other than the fact that a lot of the things in their near future still haven't happened yet. But I will say about the figure, and anyone who's seen Batman Beyond will understand, it's shway. So there you go.
There you go.
Dave, what do you got?
I also have a Batman item. And these, I guess, just came out. This reminds me of somebody. I have the Batman and his Batshield Hallmark ornament.
Oh!
Look at that.
Look at that.
Yeah, I guess they all just came out because, or maybe they come out in August. I don't know. But I just saw them showing the Hallmark ornaments on Facebook in a Hallmark ad. And I'm like, oh my God, there's 66 Batman with his Batshield. I know someone who's dressed up like this once or twice. You can see him like it does not have
that shield is over your shoulder as you're holding
right
this
there.
up.
It does not have the yellow on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
They cheaped out on that, I guess. But it's cool looking, and I have really shied away from most of the Hallmark ornaments because they're just getting to be. Some are ridiculous, but this is the first one I bought.
The one so for the audience's sake, I texted these guys a picture today. There's a Guinan, Whoopi Goldberg Guinan ornament that just came out from Hallmark, and she's in what looks like a Mexican wrestling pose. She's got her hands up like she's ready to grapple.
I don't understand.
It's got to have significance somewhere. I do not ever remember that.
Yeah.
Me either.
Unless, like, maybe she was pouring pouring a drink or something, and they decided not to give her the glass and the.
These are made by artists. They sculpt these, so they had to sculpt it for some reason. I mean,
usually they're in some type of regular standing pose, but this was an action pose for Guinan, who never did any action.
You know what, Barry?
Anyway,
seriously, if you put a shaker in one hand and a glass in the other, that pose would work.
Maybe
there's some comes with it. Anyway, I don't have a 66 Batman on my Christmas tree. I do have a 70s sort of Super Friends type Batman, but this is good. I also, even though I was like, I also got the new Superman, just because I have no Superman on my tree.
You know what? I would get that too.
And I wanted to get him because I love that movie. So that's what's
I
in
have
the
a
box.
cartoon Batman ornament. It's not true 66, but he's got a batarang and a rope, and he climbs up the tree. And I've had that probably for 20 years.
Is that a Hallmark one? Or
yeah.
Is that the same?
I
have one where the batarang is on the you hook, and then it's got a thin black line. That's the one I have.
Same one. Yeah.
That's like the Super Friends looking one.
Yep. That's the only
that's the
Batman.
one. I love that one because it's.
We all have that one.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, they have all kinds. I mean, some of these ornaments are they're like this big, and like there's not stuff you can put on a tree. It's just like they have the cantina or something. It's like a little ridiculous.
They have the Jarek table. My friend sent me a video of it, and it's got like a hologram built into it that when you push the button, it does the whole interaction between C-3PO and Chewbacca, and you see the little chess people moving on the little hologram screen.
It's
impressive.
And it's so funny.
Someone somewhere who is eagerly awaiting their first date, despite being in their 40s, has a tree that is nothing but Star Wars ornaments, and they are so waiting for that Jorg table.
Oh, probably. I was reading the reviews on the Post, and they're like, it doesn't stand. Like 10 people were like, this Batman, it's supposed to hang on a tree. They didn't make it to stand.
It's not
like,
an action figure.
Yeah. Glue its feet if you want. And the pose looks weird if he's on the ground. But anyway, so that's what's in the box.
So before we wrap, Dave, is there anything new that you want to talk about from Dave's workshop?
I'm working on some stuff. I'm working on this one project that I can reveal at a later date, but I am gathering different materials from all over the place to make it. So stuff came yesterday, stuff came today, so there's a lot of stuff going on. So, but if you need a display or plaques for any type of thing, check out From Dave's Workshop, and we will set you up. Yeah, lots of weird stuff going on, but I'll talk more about that when I'm able to. But check us out. Awesome. Okay. Next week, I think we have a good show. We won't reveal what it is, but we will. We definitely have something good.
Yeah,
good
we may have a
special
guest with us next week.
Yes, we may or may not. No, we probably will.
I think we will.
And
it's on their I know it's on their calendar. Let's put it that way.
There's big stuff coming up because we don't talk about the number. We are at 593. 500. It's funny, when I was at this maker camp, I was talking to, I said that guy Jimmy the rest. He just had a 500th episode of his podcast he does with two other makers, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're about 600, and there were like two other, like 600. I'm like, yeah, we're the longest running show that makes no money. So, but 600's a lot. I mean, geez, we've done a lot of this. Yeah. So
and it looks
we
like
sure have.
That is coming up. So coming up soon.
And we're still friends, so go figure.
Yeah. Crazy. But yeah, that's coming up soon before the end of the year. So lots of fun stuff coming up. Oh, and we will be at Rhode Island Comic Con. So if anyone's going, let us know.
Yes.
And
I'll be in Jamaica.
You'll be on the phone.
I'm going to do my very best to dial in. Yes.
You will have a presence there. Put it that way.
Yes.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.